Determining which power amp or audio-video receiver is right for you is a common problem many AV enthusiasts face. While there is more to amplifiers and receivers than their power output, making sure the amplifier or receiver you're considering has enough power is a great place to start. So how does one determine if their amplifier or receiver has enough power? To better answer that question, we must first look at our loudspeaker. Most loudspeakers have what is known as an efficiency rating. This is usually conveyed as a decibel level at a particular power output and distance. For example, 88 dB at 1 watt, 1 meter. What this tells us about this particular loudspeaker is this. With 1 watt of power seated 1 meter away, we can expect our loudspeaker to play back at 88 decibels. While 88 decibels is fairly loud, it's not as loud as some people may choose to play back their favorite music and movies. In order for a loudspeaker with an efficiency of 88 dB at 1 watt and 1 meter to play up to the THX standard for dynamic peaks, 105 decibels, you would need an amplifier capable of producing 64 watts of power. How did we arrive at this number? For every 3 dB of output you wish to achieve, you must double the amount of power you're bringing to bear. So to go from 88 dB to 91 dB of output, you must double your initial power, which would bring you to 2 watts. Want to jump from 91 dB to 94 dB. Now you must have 4 watts. 97 dB would therefore require 8 watts. If your speakers are less efficient, say for example 86 dB, you would need roughly 128 watts of power to reach the THX standard. In other words, the less efficient your loudspeakers are, the more power they'll require in order to drive them comfortably to appropriate levels. The more efficient your loudspeakers, the less power they'll require to reach appropriate levels. Lastly, understand that as you add other variables, such as room size and seating distance, the more power that will be required in order for your loudspeakers to achieve or reach the volume levels we discussed a moment ago. While some of these power figures may not sound like a lot, understand that not all amplifiers are created equal, even if on paper they appear to be. For example, many AV receivers claim to produce Herculean-like power, some in excess of 100 watts per channel or more. However, when measured in the real world, their actual power output is often less. In some instances, a lot less. Here's an example of a popular AV receiver with a reported power rating of 80 watts per channel. When we test it in the real world, we see that its actual power output is much less. Had the receiver produced a true 80 watts of power across all of its channels, the listener would have the requisite power to drive most any loudspeaker to THX approved levels. While it's rare for an amplifier to run at full power all the time, you want to make sure your amplifier or AV receiver has enough power in reserve to cover your favorite music and movies' dynamic shifts that can cause an amplifier to dip into its power reserves at a moment's notice. Not all manufacturers share their products' actual power ratings with the public, nor are they required to. Therefore, it is important that you understand just what your loudspeaker's needs are in terms of their sensitivity and how that translates to your amplifier or AV receiver's power output. So, while not everyone may need a 500 watt amplifier, there are definitely loudspeakers and/or scenarios where such an amplifier would come handy. At the end of the day, what's most important is that you choose the right amplifier or AV receiver that is going to power your loudspeakers properly and to your liking, and yet still fit within your budget. For more on power amplifiers, please visit Emotiva.com or call 877-366-8324 to speak with one of our helpful product specialists.